J.C. Newman Cigar Studio in Boston, Massachusetts, and the Gurkha Cigar Studio in beautiful British Columbia. Welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Mitchell Santaga.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the that's the Smokin Tobacco Show. Wrong show. Let's try that again. I'm Matt Tobacco from SmokinTobacco.com, live from the J.C. Newman Cigar Studios, and I am joined once again by my good friend, Mr. Mitchell Santaga, in the Gurkha Cigar Studios from beautiful British Columbia.
That's right.
That's right.
Gurkha Cigar Studios, and it is a beautiful day here.
Yeah, I see you got the fleece on. It's already starting to get cold up there, eh?
Yeah, it's oh wow, pulling out the A, going a little Canadian.
You almost missed that, didn't you? Eh?
Yeah.
Tell me all about it.
Rained yesterday and got down to about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Today it's actually really nice out, but I know that once the sun sets, it's gonna quickly drop into the mid to low 60s, and I'd rather be a little bit toasty now and comfortable later than freezing my nips off later. So. Yeah, but the backyard is looking beautiful. There's a light breeze, and the last week there's been horrible forest fire smoke. We've had some of the worst air quality in all of the world.
Yeah.
For the last week here in British Columbia. So it's nice to finally actually, after the rain, it's cleared up a little bit of the smoke. A little bit of the fires have kind of calmed down a bit, and there's a light breeze kind of keeping things moving. So.
Well, it still feels a little bit like Miami up here in Boston. It's still a little humid. It's not as hot and soaking wet as it was beginning of July, but it's definitely not cold yet, and it's definitely not dry. So it's still feeling pretty summery and tropical. I'd like to tell you that I put on my Hawaiian shirt tonight because I was feeling tropical, but the reality is that my normal Smokin Tabacco Show uniform, my diamond crown shirt, courtesy of my friends at J.C. Newman, was wrinkled, and I didn't want to look like a bum. So I grabbed this in a hurry, and I put this on. So I'm feeling tropical tonight, by way of avoiding looking like an ass with my wrinkled shirt. So that's that.
Looking beautiful.
You got thank you. You got the fleece on, looking toasty. I got the tropical shirt on. I think our guest, who, while I was still setting up, saw that I entered with this outfit, and I saw him get up and leave, and he changed to be on theme. Now I know you couldn't do that, and that's okay, but he's one of my favorite people in this industry. He really is, and I wish that I got to spend more time with him, because I know how much fun he is, and the fact that he did that was just like this guy is fucking awesome. He's the balls, man. He's the bee's knees, the cat's meow. He's got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about tonight, and I'm sure you're gonna laugh when you hear all about it. But
maybe you'll cry.
Maybe, I don't know. He's not too shy to this kind of thing. He once upon a time he was part of the media realm, by way of Cigar Dojo, and then he worked for a company called I don't know. It's this little company, Drew Estate. You've probably heard of it. And
some people smoke their cigars occasionally.
Yeah, they it's not like they won a cigar of the year with us like 2 years ago, and he was there for that. But then he left them and went to go work for Camacho, and he is making his debut on the show tonight because I don't think we've ever had him on the show. But I'm very excited that he's here regardless, to talk about his new venture, his new life, and I don't know, maybe some conspiracy theories. I mean, he's got some ideas of how the world would be in many different scenarios, and he's not a stranger to share those. So without further ado, let's bring him on. You know him, the man, the myth, the sexy myth, the legend, all the way from, I think he's in Florida. All the way from Florida. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. Mr. Jack Heyer. Let's bring him on. There he is. Look at that smile.
Thank you. That was rousing. I don't think I've ever been called the balls before. That's got to be a Northeast thing. I don't think that lingo made its way down to wherever I'm from.
That's definitely a thing around here.
you're right across the board. I saw your floral shirt. I said, if we're getting tropical, we're getting tropical. Yeah, and I'm stoked to be here. I when you sent the invitation as a guest, first of all, the fact that you would choose me as, basically the godfather of your child, being the first guest on your show after the birth of your kid. I think that that's kind of how it works, at least from a broadcasting point of view. That showed it was very kind of you. And I said before the show started, it's a miracle that you're even doing this, because this is, you have to be kind of seeing stars. And there's 2 of us on the show, but it probably looks like there's like 6 or 7 of us with all the, lack thereof, or sleep or lack thereof, you've been getting. So thank you, gentlemen, for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. I'm excited about this. Yeah, it's going. But, as they say, the show must go on. And, and so we're here. We did spare notes on Saturday. Just inside the 48-hour birth window, but we got it done. 3 hours and 15 minutes. Me and Coop, we went for it. We went for the marathon.
Yeah,
it was funny because you said
Coop
that
show too. You can't do like a quick little snipped off show. It's like you got to go all the way.
Oh, it's funny because Coop called me when we were still in the hospital on Friday. He's like, hey, how he is? Hey, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, it's good, And he's like, yeah, how's it going with the baby and this? And I go, yeah, and by the way, we're still good for spare notes. He's like, oh, okay. I didn't know. I was going to ask. I'm like, no, we're good to go. He's like, oh okay. Well, let's do it. I'm like, yeah, we are. So, and we did it.
That was a pretty good Coop.
That was a long show.
That was a pretty good Coop.
Yeah, I've been working on it a little bit here and there. I don't think I've really fully let my... See, one of the things that some people know about me, the people closest to me, people who I work with and stuff, I'm very good at impersonating people and doing impressions. And the Coop one, I haven't really fully let out of the cage yet, but I've been working on it very, very diligently, because I know that when I do, there's no taking it back, and I want it to be perfect.
You have you have to have it just right,
Yeah.
Coop's a tough one because, you can kind of get the tone of his voice, but the mannerism, that's like Eric Espinosa.
Pacing.
A lot of people do Eric Espinosa impressions. But Sammy from La Polina does the best one, because he gets like the right, like, bro, blah, 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 and then he gets like the correct hand motions. You'll have to get that if you really want to fully, you have to smoke a cigar like Coop, which has its own nuances. He has a very specific grip and puff method. I look forward to it. I hope that you bring it out like Frank Caliendo style, and you do a full
stand-up
we
special.
should do a roast of Coop. That would be amazing.
That would be great. That's a great idea, and I would host it right here, and you could come. You could be the come.
That would be great. Yeah, I had a, and I love Coop. I'm saying all of
course.
This out of an abundance of love for Coop.
Yes.
But we went to Nicaragua once, and I've only known Coop in his current form, and I've seen some pictures of a younger Coop. He had it going on a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was like, Coop, we're just sitting on a bus in Nicaragua. We're driving for some hours. And I said, Coop, I just want to picture, what were you like in high school? Or I just can't picture you other than like a dad,
I know this
he
story.
Said, I'll never forget. He goes, well, I wouldn't say I was a jock. And I was like, yeah, Coop. I don't think.
No, actually, if I remember correctly, or at least the way I remember the story, it was, I wasn't really the athletic type.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I was a jock. I was like, yeah, Coop, I was guessing that you were like the greatest sports journalist at your high school, in your high school's history,
I love him. I really do. And he's a good sport. You know why? We can pick on Coop because Coop can dish it out.
For sure.
He can. So that's why it's fair game. Because Coop.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to the roast of Coop already. That'll be great.
Because by the time that Coop watches his show and sees all this that we're talking about him, there will be a thing.
He's going to have some ammunition.
There will be. There will be a thing, and it'll be like, I saw that show the other night. I'm like, I know you did. And he's funny. He's done that to me before, where I've done this, and he was like, I saw that show, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I wasn't hiding. But no, it isn't good fun. But the roast, I like that. Yeah,
that's a good. We have it. I think that they've done a couple of them like at events and stuff. But I don't know if there's ever been a live broadcast.
Well, you've definitely planted the seed, and now we need to put some water on it and hope that it grows. Anyway, people are asking, when do I get my celebratory cigar? Stay tuned for that. There's been some delays. There's been some delays with
Well,
that.
a
So
question I have for you: some people do are you planning on doing that? Some people do, like when their child is born, they do a box of cigars, and then every year on the birthday they smoke a cigar, and then the last one is their 18th birthday.
yeah.
Is there a specific cigar or any plan you have?
I have some things that I'm working on. That I'm just not close enough to being finished to talk about. But
All right.
I have some ideas. I have some shit I'm kicking around, and hopefully it comes to fruition soon.
Enough said.
Yeah,
We'll wait for the press release.
yeah. The press release will go out. Coop will get the exclusive as always.
Of course.
48-hour exclusive.
Yeah, he'll get the 48-hour embargo. No one can touch it, but
Of course.
someone else will probably steal it. Maybe the PCA. We'll see.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Just feeling good tonight. Why not? Jack, are you smoking
Yeah,
with
you
us
had nothing
tonight?
to lose. Look, I've done this when I'm a guest on a show. I have two options: better audio visual, or I get to have a better time and smoke. So I decided, you know what? For our watchers and listeners, I'll grant them, me not just being on my patio and a laptop, and I'll save my smoking until later.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You, as I said, I know you come from this world, so you know and appreciate
Yes.
good
A
visual.
Well, I'm when I listen to podcasts, nothing gets me more, razzed up than when just bad audio. It's like
The audio is very important.
if I'm going to take the time to listen to you blabber, at least make it sound decent, for God's sake. So, I'm right now I'm in Miami, and Davidoff's office is in St. Pete, so I'm planning on moving here in the next few months. When that happens, we got a whole lounge, I'll be set. But until then, I'm in my bedroom streaming, like a Twitch streamer.
It's okay. It's all right. I could see you as a Twitch streamer. Just on there like playing.
I would be
something like-
good, but here's the thing, and in like the current era, I just can't guarantee that I'm not going to say something that will get me fired if I'm live for longer than like an hour. I could keep the beast in the cage for like an hour or two, but if I had to stream for like 8 hours, I would say something dumb enough to get me in trouble, guaranteed.
And include like a minor to a moderate amount of alcohol in there, and it's game over for Jack.
Yeah, well, that's been a recurring theme in my career early. So I've been like, oh, I'm an adult. I have to be an adult. So we're working on it. Knowing what your pain points are is a big part of the process.
It's funny, and I think this was before your current employer. I think this might have happened during your previous employment. But
Yes.
it was down at Puro Sabor. I think it was one of the formal parties, and there was a picture of you with a can of the Tonya in your hand.
Yes.
And I don't think you knew where you were.
That's the funniest thing is that
That's an
picture.
infamous picture.
That picture, I was actually, the beautiful thing about Tonya, and if Tonya would sponsor me, I'd love to be on board, because if you taste Tonya beer, it's a Nicaraguan beer that it's like your only option if you are so lucky to go to Nicaragua and do all this sort of stuff. If you taste Tonya beer, it tastes incredible in Nicaragua. And if you tried it anywhere else, I don't know if it's like an import-export thing or if it's just you're enjoying your time in Nicaragua, but it tastes pretty bad everywhere else. But in Nicaragua, I think it must be like a 1% beer, because I swear, I could drink 150 of them and be mostly, cognizant and coherent. So Coop loves my love for Tonya. So, the picture, I think it was just a bad picture of me. I think at that exact moment, I had my bearings a decent amount.
Tyler Jeffrey asks, are you going to be in Miami in early November?
Tyler, yes, I should be. Well, if I'm not traveling, I do have a decent amount of travel, but Tyler, I've blocked Tyler for a long time because, he was stalking me. So Tyler, after, I'll unblock you. We'll get together. We'll exchange some messages, let's have a smoke. Let's break bread.
Oh, and we have this comment right here, and this one actually touched me because it brought back just memories, even from the outside. And I'm sure it's going to bring back internal memories for you. But we have a a very good friend of yours here with us tonight. You guys were like the dynamic duo once upon a time, and I think you know who I'm talking about. His name is Joe Grow, and he says my boy. And Joe is here tonight.
Joseph Grosif, Papa Joe. Yes, Joe was like my well, first of all, he was my boss, but he was like my my sensei. He was like the Obi-Wan to my Anakin.
You were the chosen one.
Time. You were the chosen one. Yeah, that's more true than you know. That's a good. I wouldn't say that I've gone
to the Force.
I don't think that I've gone
not joined the dark side.
To the dark side, but that may be a bad analogy because he was a war criminal that did kill a lot of people. But
I have the higher ground, Anakin.
But shout out Joe Grow.
Good to see him here. Very exciting to see him here.
Smoking.
Yeah, that's right. So it is our. Sorry, we're having so much fun with Jack. It's time for our cigars of the night. Brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's right. It's the number 2 guyscigars.com. If you head over there today, you can find an amazing selection of cigars and cigar accessories from all over the cigar industry, only at the number 2 guyscigars.com. And I believe. Actually, I don't know. I'll ask you this in a second. But they do carry Camacho. You can find Camacho and all the other Davidoff products at the number 2 guyscigars.com. So whatever Jack talks about tonight, we're probably going to talk about the new Camacho in probably just a few minutes. So, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find that at 2guyscigars.com when it goes on sale, but I'm not 100% sure. You should. So head over there, and you can get it there, and you can smoke it, try it, and tell Jack all about how much you either love it or how much you hate it. And if you hate it, he'll tell you to fuck off. No, he won't. He'll probably just be like, well,
you'll love it.
You're going to love it. And if you have a bad experience, he'll say, well, it was probably you, because that cigar is fantastic.
Listen, Bubby, you don't know how to cut it. It's cold.
Anyway, so
cigars the balls.
I think me and Mitchell are smoking the same cigar. So Mitchell, go ahead and just show everybody what we're smoking tonight.
I can't really get a good. It's really bright out here, but the Camacho Factory Unleashed Toro. I think this is the number 1, right? This is the first one.
I think so. I think this is
the
first
2
one.
and the 3 have an actual 2 and a 3 on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
So this doesn't have a
correct.
number, and it's white, silver, and black. And so from my research, this was the first one, and this must have a bit of age on it because there's a little bit of yellowing on the cello.
It should be 2 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, and smoking really nice. I got a really unique woodiness, and then that I don't know. Some people call it open foot, shaggy foot, whatever. Transition from no wrapper to wrapper was. It's always fun, right, to see if you can pick up any noticeable difference, and it brings a lot of balance to it. Like when you first light up the cigar, that first quarter of an inch, it's you get notes that you don't usually get in a cigar, but you're kind of like, it's missing something, and then the wrapper hits, and you're like, oh, this is like a full profile now. So that's always super fun, super cool.
Yeah, so the Factory Unleashed, and that's a good plug because the number 3 is out. It's a limited production. So we release one each year for the last 3 years. We had the one that you're smoking now, which was just called the Factory Unleashed.
Yeah.
So it wasn't called Factory Unleashed 1. And then the 2 was last year, and then the 3 was this year. And they all feature that unfinished foot, shaggy foot, whatever you want to call it. But it's so nice because you get that first 15, 20 minutes of wrapper filler or binder and filler without the wrapper. And then the wrapper kind of comes in. And some people have told me like with the third one, they're like, it's so sweet at the beginning. And then all of a sudden the wrapper kicks in. Or it's kind of the genesis of the project was to, give people the experience when they come down to our factory. They get to smoke just, we call them cylinders, but just a pure leaf of one kind of leaf. And it's like, how do we recreate that? How do we get something like that out into the market? Now, it's not like we invented it or something, but it's really a nice, cost-effective, in the States. In Canada, it probably costs like 2.1 million, loonies or whatever you guys call them. But, in the States, it's an inexpensive cigar that you can try. And it's kind of, for us, it was a good way to bring new blends to the market that people could try them and not, entirely new brands each year. So this year we wanted to do, have you guys seen Tropic Thunder?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
when they do the trailer for the Scorcher series, we kind of wanted to do, but we ended up not doing it. But it was like, from the makers of Factory Unleashed 1 and Factory Unleashed 2, nobody could have seen it happening one more time. And then just like
Factory Unleashed 3.
Who left the fridge open?
Yeah, and it would have been you.
Yeah, it's just me.
And the cowboy hat, which apparently that's
dude, that picture does numbers. People love the picture. We had my previous employer, Drew Estate, had a big raging party in Dallas, and I have a cowboy hat and I have cowboy boots. It's a pretty funny story, actually. So I said, I have moved like 4 times, and I've moved this cowboy hat and I've moved these cowboy boots, and I don't think I wear them ever. So I was like, if I'm going to Texas, I'm going to Texas. Like we're doing it.
Oh shit. Okay.
So I brought the whole get up. I bought a bolo tie, but I had the whole outfit, and people were losing their minds. Like it was quite a statement piece. But the issue was, I had a coworker, shout out Laura Torres, who's very respected. She's been there forever. And it's like the line of like, would you rather be feared or loved? And Michael Scott says, I want people to be afraid of how much they love me. One of our coworkers from Hawaii actually brought this bag of gummies for Laura. And Laura, if you don't bring her, if it comes out that I had the gummies and I didn't bring them, my ass is grass. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take the gummies. The gummies were like a 3-pound bag. It was like a pillow of gummies. So I didn't have any room in my bag on the way back. So I had to wear my cowboy hat and my cowboy boots through TSA. And I had to literally like cowboy John Wayne walk into the through the TSA line. And there's no more humiliating thing in the world than getting through TSA and having to put a pair of cowboy boots on, on the other side, like trying to jam your fat foot into it. But people love that. People love that picture. I gotta, give a shout out to the crew.
And TSA is just like expecting you to be like, "Howdy, folks," and you're just like, "Hey, I'm Jack."
Yeah, I'm from Denver. Just not the softest hands in the cigar business. Just not a day of manual labor ever.
Oh man, it was a good look for you, and I'm glad we got to see it, and I'm glad it was captured and documented, because that's,
yeah, of course,
you're gonna ride that out until the end. But again, this is why you're one of those guys. It's funny you mentioned the Michael Scott thing, right? I could see you being like Michael Scott. Like it makes a lot of sense.
But actually good at your job.
I have that energy a little bit. It's just kind of like slightly Midwestern. Now I've been traveling a lot, and like what they say about people from the Midwest. I'm not from the Midwest. I'm from like the Mountain West, but there's too nice, and I kind of have a little bit of that.
Because you're from Colorado, right?
Yeah, I'm from the Denver area. That's how I got. That's how I linked up with the Cigar Dojo guys.
Right.
I was in college. I was a broke college student, and they're like, actually, we do this show in Lakewood, which was like 20 minutes from where I grew up, and I was like, can I come? Can I come? Like, yeah, of course. They're the nicest guys ever. So, I was hanging out with them for a while. And then, who'd have thunk that one day I was like, maybe I want a cigar job. So I call it the great betrayal. I Julius Caesared my good friend Eric Guttormson, just stabbed him in the back and took a cigar job. And, a few years later, here I am.
And yeah,
he's fine,
history.
It was funny. There were a couple people. I was a co-host of a cigar podcast for some time. And I always thought it was so funny, but there were a couple people, I would look at the comments. There were a couple people like, thank God Jack's gone. He was so loud. And I was like, ooh, ouch. Didn't think that would affect me as much as it did.
Well, that's like people who comment when John Carney's on a show and they say he talks too much. And I'm like, and they complain about it.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
Now I get comments saying I don't talk enough. I don't know. People just are never happy with anything, are they?
It's a tough balance. He ends up being my cigar dad. I call him my cigar dad, but a good friend of mine, I met him in person, and he had watched the show for years, and he was like, I did not think I was going to like you. We'd had a couple beverages, and he was like, I didn't think I was going to like you. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, you just never stop talking, and it drives me insane. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, that did hurt my feelings a decent amount, but thank you for your candor. I appreciate your candor.
You're, one of my favorite clips is from when you were co-hosting is when you were interviewing Robbie Rasmussen.
Yeah,
It's just, oh my god, I can't believe that.
It's the most cringy. It's the most cringy thing that's ever happened. And sorry for it's so my apartment is so dark. I don't know why.
I was gonna say now you're
really
starting to recede into the shadows like Homer Simpson into the bush.
The sun was setting and it was just perfect light in here, and now the sun is like fully set, and I have to like tweak my camera or something a little bit because I'm like dark. But I'll turn a light on in a second if this keeps getting worse.
If you need to go do it, you can go.
Yeah.
Do
Give me you guys blabber
Go ahead.
for a second.
Go ahead, Jack. I don't want you to be do what you got to do. I know. Look at him. He's like scurrying away.
How's your Factory Unleashed smoking?
It's great. It's great. He definitely can taste the age on it. It has this real earthy and nutty taste to it that I really enjoy.
Definitely.
It's very nice. It's a mouthful, but it's not like it's not strong, but it's a full mouthful of flavor, and it's nice. It's a little bit more tamed, and you can tell it's just a little bit cooled off, but not where it's like not in a bad way. It's nice. I think the age affected these really nice. Also, I wanted to make this statement because this happened to me today. I made an announcement today that we were interviewing new web developers for SmokinTabacco.com. As we're in the process of overhauling to a much bigger and more robust website for all of you to enjoy. Really, because you're the people who go to it, not us. So, and it's funny, I put this thing out, and I didn't mean to, and I think it was the hashtags that I used, and I didn't mean to use the hashtags to get like millions of people. But within 20 minutes, my phone began to ring. And get text messages, my email went off, my Facebook DMs went off, and it continued to flow in like what I imagine, I don't know.
Like you're like a CFO position at a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah, and I'm like, I literally got like, I think 40 phone calls, I want to say 60 text messages, and like 35 emails just on this issue today. And most of it was spam and like junk and people overseas, and I'm like, I was more or less asking the people who like know me to recommend people that
Facebook
they know.
Friends.
Yeah, and it turned into this worldwide advertisement, and I had to take all the posts down. I've had to block so many phone numbers, and just as a heads up and an FYI, I already have like 2 or 3 people I'm already considering. 2 of them have made other cigar media websites in the business. That's all I'll say. But they were recommended by those people, so it's also fair game. I'm not going after anybody. And so I'm kind of like, that's kind of who I'm leaning towards, because those people have already built websites that I know are operating just like mine. So that's kind of like what I want to do. So I'm good. I appreciate the real people who sent me recommendations, but as for everyone else, stop calling me. Houston, Texas phone number called me 15 times within a half an hour, and I go, I got a newborn baby with me.
What if they were the best web developer of all time, and they were like, please, I really like cigars, let me help you, and you're just like, oh, get this guy out of my face.
I know. I'm sorry, but you have to narrow the list down at some point. You can't be indecisive. I've already narrowed the list down.
Pick out of like 10 people instead of like 1,000 people.
I'm telling you,
it's a premier gig. People are excited about smoking tobacco. What can you say?
Everybody, Paul, don't be knocking the sales off. Look, I appreciate it. I really do. But it was overwhelming. That's what it was, overwhelming for me. I'm like, this is too much.
It's just not the right day for this sort of like heat. You're getting like birthday level calls and texts on just like a standard issue Facebook post. Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know Smokin Tabacco was that kind of commodity where people were like, oh, this is the opportunity we've been waiting for. To build Smokin Tabacco.com.
I already quit my job. Please take me.
This is a multi-million-dollar contract. I am definitely getting this job.
It's like fucking Wolf of Wall Street. They're like all on the room being like, Smokin Tabacco's officially put the contract out there.
You show me a Smokin Tabacco. You show me a Smokin Tabacco homepage, and I quit my job right now.
You know, he just said on the air, he's done interviewing people, but I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. There's just this crowd. Yeah, we built the website anyway. It's like, settle down.
He's not even sure.
It's not a rally. This isn't a rally. Come on. Jesus Christ. You know, it's like, I don't know, 1,500 pages, give or take. I don't know. Anyway, that's my gear to grind.
Yeah,
for today.
has the fame gotten to you?
I guess so.
I
I guess so, Jack. Is this what it feels like to be William Cooper? I mean, everywhere you go, they know your name.
It's something I ponder, on a daily basis. It's just like, what is it like to be up in that stratosphere? I don't know,
It's a lot of work to be that popular, I guess. I don't know. It's exhausting. I don't know if I have what it takes to keep up with it. So props to those who do.
I know that I don't.
Jack, tell us before we get too wild. We'll get to a little bit of serious business for a moment, and then we'll go back to having some fun.
All right, I guess. All right.
But I gotta do this first. I know Camacho has a new product that is going to be hitting the shelves very soon. So tell us a little bit about that and kind of what's going on there. What do you guys got going on?
Yeah, so it's exciting for us. We're releasing next week on the 7th should be the in-market date. So if it's not in your store on the 7th, it will be on the 8th. It's going to be shipping out next week. The Camacho Broadleaf, which is exciting for us because it is a leaf that is in demand. A lot of broadleaf blends have come out. Famous broadleaf blends have come out in the last, decade. For us, what's unique about our blend or our call tag is, big leaf, big flavor. We want to bring that same kind of Camacho energy where it's a very flavorful cigar, very rich cigar, but, with our construction and everything like that to the market. But also it's a Honduran broadleaf, which I have not seen. I'm not going to say that we are the first to do that, but we're growing, the broadleaf in Honduras. You're going to have that same flavor, those same rich qualities that you get with all of our other blends and brands out of our factory in Honduras, but in a broadleaf. So I've smoked a handful. If some of our compatriots were at Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest, they had smoked it. That we did kind of a sneak preview for everybody that made it out there. So if you're lucky enough to grab that, good on you. We're getting good feedback on it. I think it's super smooth. I get a lot of leather chocolate. I'm sorry I didn't, send you guys any at this point. That's hand up. It's on me, but it's a beautiful product. 3 sizes: Robusto, Toro, and a Gordo. And the price point, depending on where you live, it's like, it's $10 ish. That's without taxes. So, add on whatever it'll cost whatever your Camachos cost where you are. So it's not a significant uptick in price. So it's a delicious smoke, and I'm excited for everybody to get their hands on it. It's our first new full core line, so it's not going to be limited production, limited release, anything like that. We're full bore, so we haven't had a new full release since the Camacho Nicaragua in 2020. So I'm excited, man. I'm going to be hitting the streets and I'm not going to be handing these out. If the FDA is watching, I will not hand any out. If somebody purchases a cigar or makes a qualifying purchase, I would love to put a Camacho broadleaf in their hands.
With that and the winning of it, there's debate on whether or not that's still a rule or not in the industry.
I was told
right now,
maybe
right
not.
now, I would obviously stay on the precautionary side, but I've heard that most likely moving forward,
as of now,
won't. Well, yeah, they'll have.
Well, that'd be very exciting, but I don't. Look. First of all, as a rule, I do not know what I'm talking about. So if you hear me say a fact, it is something I heard at a cigar shop from another guy,
allegedly,
who also knew. That's one of my favorite things, is cigar shop facts, because that's where I get most of my information. So it's like, think about when you go online. Like, some people don't trust specific news outlets. all of my information is coming from a different guy that was sitting on in a cigar shop with me in wherever I was last week. So, as far as FDA stuff goes, I'm going to operate as business as usual until somebody who has been paid to go to law school and is also paid by Davidoff of Geneva tells me otherwise. But, it is exciting news. I hope everything comes to fruition. I'm excited for, new companies and new blends and new brands. And, I think that there could be a lot of innovation that we've lost out with over the last handful of years with the, deeming regulations. I think it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question here from Carl. Shout out to Mr. J's in Rhode Island. Are you sending any to Mr. J's?
I do not know. This is how our company works is your local sales rep, customer success manager, is what we call them at Davidoff. If they order, I'm sure we will. I don't know if they're an appointed merchant, meaning if they carry Davidoff, they will be very likely to have them. So I don't know much about the state of your local shop, but if they don't carry it, ask them to bring it in. And if they are a Davidoff appointed merchant, which means they carry Davidoff, they are most likely going to have it. So those are your go-tos. And I see, can you be the Camacho brand ambassador? Yes. If I perish or am fired, you can, I'll give you you're next up.
Carl,
that's how it works.
Thank you for being here with us. I love you. You're always here with us. Thanks for watching. And there's your answer. If someone was to take Jack down, you can slide in there. So
that's fine too. I got life insurance, so it'll be fine. It'll be all right.
See?
Just do it at a cigar shop, so it'll be like he died doing what he loved, sitting on his butt, making shit up at a cigar shop.
You'll have to go to Mr. J's, and Carl will have you taken out, and he can be like, "Well, I'm here. Just step into the." It's like the Santa Claus, right? You put on the suit, you become Santa Claus.
That's exactly how it works. That's exactly how
it's like Tim Allen. You put it on. Hey, I'm Santa now.
Yeah.
You got to put on the cowboy hat and the boots, and you can be Jack Heyer. And it's just
I've been
easy.
in Dallas a few times since, and I've been hesitant in my new role too, because I just don't, I want to be likable, and I feel like if you show up at a cigar shop and you don't know anybody there, and you're dressed like a douchebag, it's gonna be pretty tough too. I'm not saying that people that wear that are douchebags. I'm saying when I wear that, I am a douchebag. So that's kind of how the dynamic works there.
If you wore that and you even had like the spurs on your boots and you just jangled in there and you're just like, howdy, I'm from Florida. Like, they'd be like,
any of y'all want to parlay or something? I don't. Ding, I'm just like fake spitting into nothing. How y'all doing? You want to buy some Camachos? Come on over. Let me tell you about it.
And then someone who's actually from like Texas or the South will be like, what's going on with that boy? And another guy will say, he must have got kicked in the head by a mule.
I went to my first event in Dallas. There was a shoe shine, like a boot polishing stand there, and everybody brought their boots in to get polished. So, no disrespect to the great state of Texas, That's a Camacho stronghold.
Oh yeah,
Barbara, you'd be surprised. It's a decent swath of people. I'm an acquired taste, but you play fast and loose. It's gonna happen.
Oh, that's right. You know the A-Cuffs too. I forgot about that.
Of course, Kevin.
They're Smokin Tabacco people now.
I know you've recruited them to the dark side.
I have,
if you will.
Yeah.
Kevin's been one of my liaisons all the way back to my Alec Bradley days. That was my first cigar gig.
Damn!
A handful of years ago. So I was a sales guy for Alec Bradley on the West Coast, and I would stop by Vegas, and I would always see Kevin and Barb. Of course,
you have to swing through there.
Of course,
yeah. I'm really happy.
Well, pretty prolific. I can't even imagine what the collection's looking like now, but like 5 years ago, it was pretty insane. So
at their house? Oh no, yeah.
I can't imagine current day, but it was. Thank God Barb can help him chip away at the stash because
I know that Barbara's the one who's like, Kevin, you need to get rid of some stuff, and he's like, I just got all this stuff around here and I'm not really sure what to do with it, and Barbara wants it out of here, and I don't know.
That's a pretty good Kevin too.
Kevin
That's a pretty good
It just
Kevin.
happens. It just happens. And
That's
Barbara's gonna laugh at that and be like, haha, or she's gonna be like, I can't believe you'd make fun of Kevin like that.
She's gonna show him this clip later.
Kevin will watch it. Kevin will watch it. He'll know. And I'll get a phone call. We'll be like, my phone will ring. And every time Kevin calls me, he always answers it. I'm like, hello? He's like, what are you doing? Every time.
That's such a good Kevin.
And I'll just get the, what are you doing? I'll be like, nothing. Hey, I saw the show with Jack earlier. And
That's a really good Kevin. I'm impressed. I gotta say.
That's the first time I've ever done Kevin too. That just kind of came out.
It's
You could do like
naturally
a
in you.
full. You could do a full like fake trade show, a la like Tyler Perry Baddia. That would be incredible.
Get all the best impersonators in the industry.
Yeah.
If we could pull that off, like a Nutty Professor style video of you just doing all.
Yeah. I can do Matt too, Matt Booth, which is it's a little. That one's a tricky one to do. You'd think it'd be easy. It takes a lot. You got to get the squint down right. You got to get
the very
yes,
specific like
yes. Oh, hi. How are you? Good.
That's good.
Bro, you're gonna enjoy this cigar.
This is good. I'm actually blown away by this.
And
This
it
is
doesn't
really
matter
impressive,
what it
man.
is or when it's coming out. It'll be out soonish. But
Trust your heart. Yeah.
just put it into your mouth pipe and enjoy the intergalactic collection of flavors and smoke it, man. Just enjoy the cigar.
Me and the
That's all you
Cigar
need.
Dojo boys were in Vegas, and I've always known Boofy. I've always known that version. And at the time, we were at a fancy steakhouse. There was a Cigar Dojo guy that was a server there that, was like, hey, guys, I'll get you in. We'll have a nice dinner. And Matt Booth was at the end of the bar, talking to the bar manager about his gin.
Delicious.
But we walked behind him, and we're expecting him to be like, like, hey, buffet. And he was just having a very, like, delightful, pleasant, normal, like, oh, yeah, man. And, spending time with the kids, it just fills your heart up so much, man. How are you doing? And we were, like, expecting him to be like, yeah. So we, like, walk up, we're like, yeah. And he was just like, oh. Like, so then he, like, snapped into Boofy. He's like, what's up, you guys? We walked away, we're like, oh, my God.
And you know what happened? And you know what happened when he turned back to that serious conversation? He went,
I don't know who those guys are.
I'm sorry about that. I wasn't expecting that.
I was like, oh.
You were saying,
that was Matt. I was like, that was Matt Booth. I hadn't met Matt Booth.
Yeah, he's when you actually get to really meet him, it'll change your life. They always say like having kids changes your life, and so far I've learned that that's true.
Yeah, I agree.
But meeting him for real will change your life. Yeah, he's a good one. He's a fun one. And it's funny, you talk about the collection that they have. Right now, the running joke with Kevin and Barbara, speaking of Matt, is that Matt has, and I won't get too specific, but Matt has some property that is at the Acuff residence. And I think it's been there for a while, and I don't think he's been paying his rental fees.
Okay.
So I know that he's like trying to, Kevin's been trying to make that disappear, and it's fun. So I can only imagine. And it's funny, it comes to cigars and stuff. I'll be like, Kevin, we got some stuff coming in. Do you want any of these? And it's like, no, I'm good. I'm good. And I'm like, fair enough. So I can't send stuff to Kevin because he has even more than I do. I can't really send a lot of stuff to Mitchell because, well, Canada. So a lot of the times
he'll be arrested. He'll be arrested if they even catch wind of it.
He'll
They'll
be thrown in jail.
See, Barbara, right here, 3 years.
They'll make me farm.
3 years.
They'll make me farm beavers for the rest of my life.
Yeah, they'll put him into.
You messed up big time.
Yeah.
Off to the beaver farm.
Hey there, bud. Back to the fever farm there, bud.
Okay, we'll
you
tell your
know?
wife where you're going. Don't worry.
You owe 1,000 sorries, and then you're okay. All right.
All right, you can tell us all about it at the end. Okay. If you're lucky, we'll have a moose. We'll have a moose drag you through the town. See, I knew this was going to happen. And Jack came on. It's going to get wild. It's going to get out of control. Let's stop for a second, and let's talk about our news really quick. And then when we get back, we're going to ask Jack about some of his conspiracy theories because he has a lot of them, and I'm sure that some of them will tickle you in the best way possible. So, our news is once again brought to you by McAuliffe Cigars. McAuliffe Cigars is the new McAuliffe Black, rated 91 at SmokinTabacco.com by Kevin Acuff. You can read all about it on the website. And also, in the comments section, I pinned the link to this right now on all the platforms. If you're watching, it should be in the comments section, except for Twitter. But on all of our platforms, and if you're listening to us later, it'll be in the description. We're doing a giveaway right now. The winner will be announced next Saturday night on the next Spare Notes episode, so stay tuned to find out who the winner is. But in the meantime, sign up, click the link, go to the website, comment below at the bottom of the page with your name and your email, and a winner will be selected at random to win a box of McAuliffe Black Toros. Rated 91 by Kevin Acuff at SmokinTabacco.com. McAuliffe Black, it is a blackout. It took a lot out of me. Anyway, let's get back to the news. So, this week, not really a super busy news week, but there was a couple of interesting things. First of all, there's that. Camacho. CLE. I guess that's kind of on theme, if you know your cigar history. CLE has shipped its Iroa PCA 2023 exclusive. That has gone out to stores. Ferio Tego has expanded its distribution in Asia, and so Ferio Tego will now be available in Hong Kong, Japan, China, which I believe started earlier this month. Altadis announces the new Onyx Vintage Nicaragua. That'll be hitting store shelves very soon. And as well as the ongoing NFT, the Tatuaje Smoke In, the Anarchy NFT, has been continuing to sell since the last time we talked. The fourth one, let me go back to the third one. Yeah, the third one, which ended a few days ago, that sold for $81,778 to our very good friend of the show, Mr. Jay Davis of Blue Smoke of Dallas. So congratulations. A Tatuaje NFT is going to Blue Smoke of Dallas, so call Jay Davis. Everybody blow his phone up right now. He's in the Dominican Republic, so blow his phone up and tell him you want some. And then the fourth one has sold to Danny Dikowicz for also $81,180, so almost the same, just a little bit less than number 3, who owns the shop of Tobacco Plaza in Great Neck, New York. So another one will be going up to New York. And the fifth one is currently underway. So if you head over to SmokinTabacco.com,
you know what the price is for the fifth one?
Well, the fifth one is
50 something, right?
the current bid, because it hasn't ended yet.
Yeah, that's one. Current bid. Last time I checked, I think it was like 51 or 52,000.
The current bid is $55,555 by Mr. Alex Martinez, who owns NFT numbers 1 and 2 from the LFD Golden NFT from last year. So, and I have come to understand that they may or may not already own one of the Tatuaje NFTs. And the first NFT, although this has not been confirmed, there are rumors on social media circling around that potentially, again, these are rumors. I'm not calling anybody out here. This is what I hear in the locker room. That NFT number 1 may or may not be going to Corona Cigar. So, that has not been officially verified, though. So that's just us girls talking. I'd stay tuned for probably post auctions on the confirmation of everyone's identity, which, with the exception of Jay and Danny, I think those ones are pretty obvious. They were pretty out there on that. So keep an eye out for those. And NFT number 5, right? Yeah, number 5 will end tomorrow at noon. Well, unless it goes into overtime. And looks like there's already some bidding activity there, so stay tuned for that. And then NFT number 7 is actually not going to be auctioned off because that will be staying with Abe at Smokin in Boynton Beach, Florida, at the Kingdom of Smokin. So there's only 2 more left. So number 5 is up for grabs, and then at noon, or when this one ends tomorrow, well, actually, it starts at noon either way, but tomorrow at noon, number 6, the final NFT, will start as this one will probably be finishing. And then that'll be it. And all the Tatuaje NFTs will be gone, and we'll wait for the next person to do an NFT. And we're already taking bets as to see who it's going to be. I'm thinking another big name company, maybe an even bigger name company than the first 2. he jumps in on this because there's a few contenders who I think would be silly not to take advantage of these NFTs because they've seemed to really grab some attention. So anyway, that's our news for the week, brought to you by McAuliffe Cigars. All right, let's get Jack back on here. I know he's probably stewing. He doesn't like to sit there and be silenced. He needs to get that energy out. Where is he? There he is. Look at him. Look at him. He's like he's got that nervous hand energy. Like, what do I do? What do I do? Oh shit, I'm back. Okay, hi.
I was trying to go for like a evil, villain when you walk, like when James Bond walks in and he's just got like a tinted, like, oh, you again. Like, good to see you. That's kind of what I was going for.
Yeah, but it's you, really, so it's more like Dr. Evil. It's like,
it doesn't really,
hello, Austin Powers.
It doesn't really go as well when you have the Hawaiian shirt on. It's not as menacing. It's a little more difficult in that scenario. But, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
That's right. That's right.
Jack Heyer.
Jack Heyer. Just keep adding names to the list.
Yeah.
I want. Yeah, there's that picture of him sitting in front of the whiteboard, like looking all serious, where it says the quote Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott, and then he's just sitting there like. I want that like framed in my house, like, and I want that to be like by my front door. So like when I come in every day, I just see that.
Yeah, like when a football team, like the college teams walk by and they all hit the like sign on the way out. That could be your, get some shots on the board today.
Look, we're big Office fans.
Podcast.
Yeah, before the podcast, Mitchell's right. Before you go on the show, you're just like, yep, boom.
Boom.
A little less dramatic if it's just like a sticky note on your monitor that you're just touching, but whatever, it plays.
Little finger tap. That's nice.
Yeah.
We're big Office people in our house. So you pull Office references with me. I mean, I don't think there's one you could drop on me that I wouldn't pick up on. We've watched that show front to back at least 100 times.
It's just the best background show, It's just a good.
You never get sick of it.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
Happens, I liked a lot like the Will Ferrell, episodes. I thought that those were hysterical, but
D'Angelo Vickers.
People, yeah, they're not as popular.
I'm truly blessed to be here tonight. To be at the Dundies. Yeah, I know. I get into it. I didn't if anybody knows that episode. I like when he does when Jim like really calls his bluff on the dunk thing, and he's like, "Let's do it downstairs." He's like, "All right," and he just does that little jump. He's like, "Ha!"
Yeah.
And then he comes back from the hospital, and he's just like, "Bang, bang, bang." Pound says, "Bang, bang, pound." Pound says, "Tongue, tongue." It's just like, what? What's going on? Right? The cake. What am I doing? I don't want that. No, you know what? I've been good. Come on, D'Angelo. He just yells at the cake. Dwight just does that dramatic, like, uh-oh. Yeah.
I think that you could do a one-man show. The more I'm seeing it, I think that you have it in you to potentially do a one-man show.
I could. I really, I've never really thought about it, but I could. Oh, Bill Powers is here with us. So, Bill, thank you for watching. Hello, Bill. Mr.
Yes.
Bill.
The dead dog. So that was right when I was completely submerged in darkness. So
no.
Through the dead dog, but it's a pretty legendary clip. Robbie Rass. It is funny because we are friends, but like every time something happens, I like greatly offend him and unintentionally, like completely, unintended. But the fact that he doesn't completely hate me yet is a miracle. But Eric Gatormson of Cigar Dojo fame, I was his co-host, and he said, "Jack, you're doing a great job on the show." He goes, "But you just have to know stuff about the guests. Like, you can't just come in and not know anything. Like, you got to just do a little bit of research." Because I was just kind of running and gunning, and then just like, when you don't really know who somebody is that well, and you're like, how do I ask this question without offending them? And you're like, you guys came out with that Habano, right? And they're like, no. Okay. No, yeah, that must have been something else.
Oh, that was the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah. How's your brother? Oh no, my dad. Yeah, your dad. You worked with your dad. That's right. So I commit, and it's the Robbie at the time was working for Mambacho, and he was going to be in studio. So I like stalk his Instagram. I'm like, okay, and he just keeps posting this his dogs. He's a big dog guy, and then he posts one of his dogs like it felt like every day. So I'm just scrolling through. I'm like, all right, guy's a huge dog lover. I'll have a dog question. So we're about an hour into the show, and I'm like, dude, I really want to ask you. I was doing some research. I peeped your Instagram page, and I want to ask you about your dog. You have a cute little boxer. And he goes, actually, a few months back, we had to put Charlie down. And the entire, it just like was a screeching halt. And it was so funny because just like, and he's like, but it was cancer. It takes it quick. It takes him quick. And we actually had to stop the show. We had to do like a brief like commercial break. And he's like, during the commercial break, he's like, all right, he's like, if you asked me that a few months ago, I probably would have lost it, but I'm okay. I can keep going now. But it's hilarious because I was like, the last post where he posted his dog, he wrote like, I miss you, buddy. Like, I'll never you crossed the rainbow bridge. And I'll post the clip, but it was unreal. And for a while I was still like on the anniversary of that clip, I would post the thing, but then eventually, I just felt bad because it was just, kicking a dead horse. Well, a dead dog, but it was.
And here you are kicking it again.
So I stopped posting, but sometimes Robbie, like it's been like 6 years.
One of your
sometimes
most famous scenes of all time.
It is. Sometimes Robbie will like post like in memoriam still to this day, and I'm like, he's doing that to get at me. I think now he wants me to feel bad.
All your
still.
fault.
Yeah. So that was that story. And it's a pretty incredible clip. Jordan made there is a slow-mo reaction of everybody reacting to it in real time. And it's literally like, no.
Cringeworthy. Just cringeworthy.
It's hard to watch. But it's never not been funny. It's still funny the same.
Was that the day that you realized, like, you know what? I'll never be cut out to be a show host. I can't do this. That's a fuck up.
I think it was like it was like my first like viral moment. I was like, man. And then I actually when I was in my previous position, I had to be like I like being. It's best being like the guest.
Yeah.
You two have to keep the show on the rails. I can kind of say whatever, and if there's like a lull in conversation, you guys have to ask me a question or something, or but if you're the host, you have to keep everything going. You have to kind of check the time, like, okay, did I forget something? Did I whatever? What's going on? Then you have to like do some of the broadcast stuff. You have to like
I'm doing right now.
Yeah, make sure the stream's live. It's not as much fun if you're just the guest or you're co-host and you don't have to do the tech part. It's a lot easier. You can just fire stuff off and sit back and relax.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on back here behind. Well,
it's not. It's it is fun to do. It's if this is considered work or if this is considered like whatever this is, it is fun to do. But it's not like easy. And my favorite thing is when people are just like, yeah, I started my own podcast. Look, it is not that difficult to go live on Facebook, but it's to do it for any amount of time. And then, you have a baby and you have to do 2 podcasts that week. That's dedication to the grind right there. That's what it takes.
And keep your website updated, write reviews on products.
Yeah, and
host a giveaway.
Go through 8,000 job applications a day. It's difficult.
To rebuild your website, which is a project in itself.
Well, I
it's not easy
because now it's like I'm married to the cigar industry.
Oh, look who's here!
Like it is great. Where it is. There we go.
There he is.
Love you, Coop.
Yeah.
Oh, Captain, my captain.
That's right.
But now, when I first started, I literally was a college kid that just wanted to smoke cigars for free. So I would get a cigar and I'd be like, this rules. This is the best. And I would like write like a little review about my, experience smoking the cigars. Like, this is awesome. And then I got to go on like a trip or I got to go to like a trade show and I would get to, and then now it's like I do have free cigars, but there is a lot that comes with it,
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. I have the greatest job ever. I don't think anybody should ever feel bad for me for 1 millisecond. But it's like a monkey paw. You wish for something and you get it sometimes. So I love this industry and this business, and I miss the media side because it was nice being able to give your opinion, and you're not blasting anybody by any means, but it's nice to be an observer of everything that's going on and try everything different. I feel like if I'm in one little corner, sometimes I feel like I miss a lot of what's going on with some of the boutique brands, or, I just am not as streetwise as I used to be with all the new stuff that's coming out and all the new releases. And I do smoke a lot of stuff that's not ours, but it used to be I was smoking every single thing that came out. So there's a lot of different amazing parts of this business.
Oh, for sure. Lots of different facets. And you seem to fit right in everywhere. I don't know what it is. You just...
You know what? I think it's just I'm generally likable. I call it failing upwards because I do a good job. I'm not going to say I do a bad job.
No, you don't.
But no matter what has happened, I've been able to try. The next thing I've been able to try that out and do it. And I've been on the sales side. I've been in the media side. I've been in the marketing side. Now I'm a brand ambassador, which is the best. If you can get the brand ambassador gig, it's the greatest. I get to just go out and talk about cigars that I love and, hang out in cigar shops, smoke cigars. I travel a lot, but, I'm at the age and point in my life where it's still really fun to travel. So it's incredible. And Camacho, working for Davidoff, Camacho especially, it's the best. It is so great. And just the cigars themselves. If it was just the cigars, it would be worth it. Like when we were talking about, I'm signing papers to start at this company, and they're like, I'm like, I hope that they don't, I hope there's no negotiation, because if they knew how little I would do this job for, they would feel really stupid paying me any amount of money. If they were like, okay, we'll give you like a couple $100 a month, I'd be like, all right, yeah, that sounds good. I'm in. A couple boxes of like Grand Cru Toro, some Corojo, maybe some Avo Classic. You keep that in there, I'm in. So it's great.
It doesn't take a lot to keep you happy.
No, I'm a simple guy. I've always said it's kind of like the only thing that I'm bougie about now is cigars. But I've said, like, as long as you can still enjoy like a crappy, beer, or like a crappy, if you can't stay in a hotel room that's kind of crappy, then it's harder because like you have a certain expectation for things. I can still stay in a dumpy hotel and drink a Coors Light and be fine. Now I can't smoke crappy cigars. That's unfortunate, but I've always had that opinion about wine. Like as soon as I don't want to know anything about wine. I just want to drink whatever wine is around me. And then it's like, oh yeah, this is wine. Because as soon as you start getting into it, then you got expensive taste. It gets away from you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a rumor that you have a tattoo.
No, it's a factual. You guys don't know about this. I thought this was public domain. That's the whole reason I got the job.
And did you show it during your interview? Because
of course. I mean, some of the people that interviewed me were there when it happened.
There you go.
So years ago, I think it was between the years of 2016 and 2018. I'm not sure when. Maybe 2017 or 2018. I was working for Cigar Dojo. I was doing podcasts and I was doing a little cigar reviewing on the side. And Camacho was like, "Hey guys, we want you to come down." That's true. It is true.
Barbara's already on top of it.
We were gonna get to that. The location.
So, it's a train stamp.
It's the best story. It's the greatest story. So they said, "Hey, we want you guys to come down. We're kind of beta testing our factory tours." So before us, like in the very, very early stages, Charlie Minato had been down like before the full guest house at our Honduras our factory in Honduras. So we were like the second group. We're the first actual group to go down, but like the second people to go down and like, go on the trip. So we told them, hey, we want to stay for 4 days and we want to, just really try everything and we will totally be your guinea pigs. So, the first time we get down there and we're George Rami, who's still, he's, in the office, he's on our digital marketing side. He was for a decade, the face of Camacho, and he's the greatest. He broke his back, traveling the country and basically long haul trucking from stop to stop. He was just in Colorado with the boys. But he was down there, and the first night, I was overserved. We'll say that. The first night I was getting after it. I was enjoying the experience. And the next day I kind of wake up, there's some cobwebs in my brain. And they're like, dude, do you remember what you said last night? I was like, no. They're like, you said you would get the Camacho logo tattooed on yourself. And I was like, you know what? I just might. Like, say I won't. And they're like, no, you're not going to do it, dude. I was like, I'll do it. They're like, all right. Like, if you say so, we'll find a tattoo artist here. I was like, but it has to be a good one, I don't want to just get some crappy, Honduran tattoo. I want, like, the best Honduran tattoo artist to come out. So they find a guy, and they're like, all right, we found the guy. He's going to come tomorrow. Do you want to do it? You guys coming tomorrow? I was like, I'm in. I'll do it. So then the next day, they're like, dude, all right. Like, he's coming. I was like, okay, I have a list of demands. I was like, 1, I'm not paying for it. You guys are paying for it. I was like, 2, I want a ton of cigars. I want a first-class flight home. And I said, and I reserve the rights. If there's any Davidoff board meetings, I get to, if I flash the tattoo, I'm allowed entry. They're like, yep, we agree to your terms. That's it. You're in. I was like, awesome. Boom. So we're, the day's going by, and we're doing a live show. We're doing a live broadcast down there. And actually on that show, funny enough, we gave away 2 trips to Don Lee, and I'm pretty sure Kevin won the trip. I'm pretty sure. That might be a lie, but Randy for sure did. And during the show, the tattoo artist guy comes in, and it was like, all right, we're doing this. And he had a top hat on, and he walked in, made a beeline, immediately put like 20 cigars in his bag, and he goes, just so you guys know, I don't speak English, just in perfect English. And I was like, haha, good one, man. And he was like, no, I just know that last sentence and then this sentence explaining it. I don't speak English. And that was it. No English for the rest of the day.
Like Family Guy.
Yeah, it was literally like that. The second part I made up.
Okay.
The first part. Yeah, so he prints out the Camacho logo on a piece of paper. And there was one that was like really tiny. Like it almost was pathetically small. And then there was one in the middle that was like, all right, that's at least something. And then the bottom one was like, I was like, okay, I'm going to get that. But he kind of like Goldilocks me into picking like a bigger one than I expected. So he's like, all right, where do you want it? And I was like, the normal answer would be like, oh, okay, maybe the shoulder, maybe like here, maybe there. But I was like, the funniest place by far would be a tramp stamp. And everyone was like, no. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And my rationale was hilarious because I was like, look, I live in Denver, Colorado. I take my shirt off 3 times a year in the summer to like go to a pool or on vacation. I don't really care. I'm a pasty white guy. I was like, and I don't like work for any cigar companies. So what does it matter if I have a Scorpion tramp stamp? Nobody will ever even know. Since that day, I've worked for like 2 different cigar companies with a Camacho tramp stamp. But if you guys want to see it, I'll show it off. This isn't, this happens a lot. So it's definitely not.
Oh, here we go. Look at this.
It's real.
Wow.
There it is, folks.
It's huge too. It's still there. Yeah. He sometimes get cold in the middle of the night, so I'll get him a little sun or a blanket or something. But yeah, and eventually, so imagine being me. You're kind of stupid. And then word gets to your ears that the Camacho brand ambassador position is open. Come on, like you got. I did the interview and I was like, guys, you're not going to find anybody more committed. I can promise you that. And boom, here we are. So now it's I say I'm the only guy that has advanced his career with a tramp stamp. I don't know if that's totally true, but it might be.
Keyword guy.
That just means that you'll have to get another tattoo for your to get the next job. I mean, have to.
Yeah,
keep that going.
I'm hoping to stick here for a while because this is a permanent. It's. I asked about tattoo removal. I Googled it, and I actually somebody told me one time they're like, oh, even if you were able to somewhat, not that I want to, if any of my coworkers are watching, I'm in it. I'm not. It's not coming off. But they're like, even if you were to attempt to remove it, there would just be like a horrible scar of a scorpion on your back. So you're riding with that forever.
We're stuck with it.
It's funny. It's undoubtedly funny. And it's kind of like a bell curve. Like I think it's going to get a little less funny and then I'll be like an old man with a tramp stamp, and then it'll be just like through the roof funny.
Be like, Grandpa Jack,
Right
I
now
heard you
it's-
have this wrinkly black spot on your back, and you'll be like, "What's a
Yeah,
funny
yeah.
story about that?"
Yeah, it is. You know, my girlfriend. That is a tough conversation you always have to have at some point when you're a I tried to start a Facebook group, like, you know, straight dudes with ironic tramp stamps, and there was just not a ton of people jonesing to join it. But if you guys know anybody with a funny tramp stamp that's trying to join the group, you know, please, we're
Send 'em
taking
your
new
way.
Did
members.
you ever
We're
see the
a
movie
membership
Couples
drive. Yeah.
Retreat? With
Haven't. Oh, maybe
Vince
I have, but I
Vaughn
kind of
and
blocked
Jon
it out.
Favreau.
Yeah.
And he's in the water, and there's like a shark going around, but it's not like trying to attack anybody. And they're at dinner, and he pulls his leg out, and he's got like this little scrape, and he's like, I was attacked by a shark, and Jon Favreau's like, it was like maybe you scraped your leg on the ladder getting out of the water. And he was like, I'm part of an elite group. I'm a shark attack survivor. And he's like, have you ever been bit by a shark? No, you can't talk about it. I'm part of an elite group. That's like you. You're part of an elite group of nonsense.
Yeah, very just dumb guys. But it's funny. I mean, it's undoubtedly funny. Sometimes, like, depending on where I am, like if it's like a really classy event, I will not disclose that I have a scorpion tramp stamp, you know, because I just don't. It doesn't play everywhere. You'd be surprised, you know.
Yeah.
The cigar crowd, the general demographic, a lot of them think it is funny. A lot of them are like, "What the hell? You got a what? Where?" But you know, if you asked me before this job if I regretted it, I would have said yes. And if you ask me now, I would have said yes, but a little less. You know,
That's a fair answer.
Still,
That's a fair answer.
it's
All right.
funny. That's my shtick. You know.
Well, I'm going to ask you now because we already teased this like 3 times. So we were talking a little bit before the show. And I know you have some conspiracy theories. And what is probably your top 2 wildest conspiracy theories? I know one of you kind of mentioned already.
I'll stick to like some of my cigar because we would always think of like funny articles we could write. And I wrote back in the day, I wrote some articles about like, you know, if the cigar industry was Game of Thrones, or what the cigar industry will look like in the year 3000, or I was kicking stuff around. I saw Rocky Patel. He actually was at a shop that I was going to. We were kind of passing, and I actually talked to him about this one. I don't think he took me seriously, but my theory was because Rocky Patel is such a prolific traveler. I mean, he has been doing events for 20 years, and he's, you know, still on a plane every day. I had a theory that Rocky Patel was cloned in the like early 2000s. And I think it holds some weight. Like sometimes you'll see there's like different versions of Rocky. So like there's like, you know, it's kind of, have you ever seen the movie Multiplicity with Michael Keaton?
No.
It's incredible. So like it's kind of the same theory, but it's Michael Keaton is a guy who's got a, you know, he's a construction foreman. He and his wife are married, but he's just having a hard time, you know, doing everything, spending time with his kids, spending time with his wife, doing his job. So a company approaches him to clone him. And he clones himself, and then he just sends that one to work all day. So he golfs all day, and then he hangs out with his wife, and then he has the clone sleep in the garage. Then that clone is like, well, screw this. I want to go golfing too. That clone clones himself, but when the clone clones himself, you know, it kind of goes off the rails. The third clone is like the least cloney clone. So I've had some run-ins with Rocky where I've been like, which one is this? Which model is, you know, this Rocky Patel version? So that was a theory. I'm Jonathan Drew was my boss for a long time. I love Jonathan Drew, but there was a time where I had a theory that he might be blind because he was wearing sunglasses so often. I was like, it could be like, have you ever heard where Stevie Wonder, people think that Stevie Wonder is actually not blind?
No, I actually haven't heard that, but okay, I'm with you. I'm with you.
There's an even crazier one where like people think that Helen Keller wasn't like that Helen Keller was just lying and was just faking the whole thing. They're like, Helen Keller wrote 7 books. How did she write anything? You know, Stevie Wonder. Oprah gave Stevie Wonder she gave him like a Rolls Royce for his birthday one year. And I'm thinking, like, why does it matter? He doesn't know. Like, what?
He can't drive.
Thank you for that.
He
The seats in this car are a lot more comfortable.
He was like,
Yeah,
that's a nice car.
The seats in this car are a lot more comfortable. So you know, JD Now I've come to discover that JD just likes looking cool. So like a Gucci, a pair of Gucci sunglasses just look cool. But I was like, sunglasses inside. I was like, what if JD's actually been blind this whole time and he's just pulling the wool over our eyes? Not the case. He does have vision. That one's false. I thought that for a long time, the Culebra story.
No.
I was like so the legend of the Culebra, is like that in Cuba they were only allowed to have one cigar a day. This is probably true.
Oh, yeah, that I thought you meant like there was. Never mind. Yes, I know that.
No, there was like a separate story. No.
Yeah, no. I thought you were talking about something else.
You can only bring one cigar home a day. So they started branding 3 cigars together. Right. I'm like, if I'm that guy's boss, I'd be like, no, what the fuck? No, that's just 3 cigars. No, that's like,
yeah.
It's not like they had like a strict like tax code. I think that the boss was like, oh, that's a good idea. We're gonna sell those, but no, of course you can't just roll 3 cigars into one cigar.
Hey, thanks for the idea, but no.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
We're gonna make money off that. You can still go fuck yourself.
I don't think that this was a conspiracy theory by any means, but like for a long time, like everybody was making candelas, and it was kind of like, have you guys ever seen the show Chopped?
I think I've seen it like once or twice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cooking show, and the premise of the cooking show is like you have a basket in front of you, and they'll give you 5 ingredients,
right?
And you have to use all of them in a dish.
Yep.
And then sometimes it'll be like bread, meat, cheese, pickles, and then it'll be like fungus or like something disgusting. And then you take the last gross ingredient and you try to like just hide it in something. You're like, oh, I put the toe jam inside of a ketchup, and then that's how I used it. That was my theory. That's what the entire cigar industry was doing with candelas. Was like everybody was like, it's a candela wrapper. We think candela tastes terrible, so we tried to make it not taste like a candela at all. But it does. The wrapper's green. You guys can see that, right? So I was like, why are we even doing this, guys? Like, why are we making a green cigar that just doesn't have any of the taste of candela? I don't know if that was a conspiracy theory, but that's just something I saw on the streets that was happening a lot. It was like, we made this green colored cigar. Isn't that funny?
The quote of every best candela: "This is the best candela. It doesn't taste like candela."
Yeah, it's like well,
every time. Every time.
Yeah, it's like wasn't the whole point to make like, then why did we do this? I'd rather just have a regular cigar,
But it's green.
I know.
I'd rather just have a regular cigar. Like, don't just put a candela wrapper on something and then tell me it's something else. No.
Those are some good conspiracies, though. The Rocky one is epic.
The Rocky one might be true. I straight up asked him. I was like, dude, I had a theory that you were cloned in like the early 2000s. And he kind of laughed it off, but it was kind of like when you were asking your parents about a deep, dark secret and they kind of changed the subject. I'm like, maybe, just maybe. I don't know if this was a theory, but I joked with Omar from Fratello one time that I thought that he was just like 5 guys stacked together, like, like it was somebody trying to get, like some teens trying to get into an R-rated movie. I was like, I'm just not buying it, dude. I don't know. It seems like there's
the Rocky one would make sense because anyone who's ever been to a trade show with Rocky knows that Rocky is up and abound and partying and drinking.
He doesn't sleep
the whole time.
That's because we were talking about the Prestige. That's because this Rocky had a full night of sleep. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah. So he goes, the one Rocky, he does the trade show during, hey guys, welcome to Rocky Patel. And, he does the show. And, he goes to sleep. He has a nice meal and he goes to sleep at like 9 o'clock. He's out like a light. He's in his 60s now. And then other Rocky Patel's like, it's my time to shine, Nish. Let's go. And he goes out at 10 p.m. and he's out in the casino till 6 a.m. Then he's like, all right, time to switch. And, the other ones,
they just what happened? Who did you talk to? Okay,
There's a briefing.
Download really quickly. Yeah.
What did you tell? I told so-and-so we'll make his cigar. Great, write it down. And then that's it. And then they do the change. That would make sense. I'm with you on that one. That one for sure.
The other one's a little too far-fetched. But that one, there's something there.
I mean, I don't know. Now, it's funny. You told me about, I don't know if you can share this or if you want to share this, I should say. you mentioned something about Steve Saka and who?
Yes, I've told Saka about this, but and I don't want to give away the full story because I'm still gonna finish this one day. But
Okay.
at a
Yeah,
time,
don't ruin it.
like in between gigs, I have been working on a graphic novel, and the premise of this graphic novel is, and when I do publish it, it will be through Cigar Dojo. I promised them the rights.
It's only fair.
Yes, because we were coming up with this idea together, but like the premise of it is it's a post-apocalyptic world. And in this post-apocalyptic world, the FDA has created this robot that like it determines everything that's bad for humans. And then it pulls like it's a classic sci-fi trope where humanity is its own worst enemy. So then all humans become eradicated. It goes out. So, I have joked about this with Coop a long time, but like part of it was Coop uploads himself into a computer and he's like a Coop bot and he's still publishing articles into the year like 2067, 2155. And he's got like a pirate radio station where he's still doing all of his shows. Like,
Primetime special edition. On episode 487,000 of Primetime.
We have our guest. The ghost of Michael Herklotz. Michael, thank you for joining us. Yeah, so the premise of this is that like if there's two guys in the industry that I know that'll shoot you straight and that'll like tell you if they don't like something, it's Hector from Espinosa and Steve Saka. Like, if you hand either of those guys a cigar and it's like you're like, hey, this is my blend, they'll tell you if they don't like it. They might be nice about it. They might not be nice about it, but they'll,
they won't lie.
If you want some unfettered, I've been with Steve Saka where he's smoked a cigar and he's just been like, no, I hate this. I don't like this. And so the premise of it is that those two are like buddy cops and they're trying to find the last cigar on earth. So I have a chapter where it's Coop. And this is, I actually wrote this part where Coop has like the bots find Coop's like lair, and he's like at this point he's like half human, half cyborg, and Coop's got two machine guns, and he's like, "You guys want to taste some lead? This lead is 98. This is 98 rated, and it's box worthy." And he just is like, so I thought that would be great. I have a chapter about the rock bots, the Rocky Patel bots.
You missed out. You hold on. You missed one part of that though. You didn't put in there like it's 98 rated as box worthy, and it meets the Coop standard of excellence.
Yeah. These bullets were released within the time frame that is. Yeah, that's exactly. So then there was going to be a chapter which this would be perfect, where like Jonathan Drew is like the head of like a Mad Max style like
I could see that
cigar army. So there's like and they got like all the remaining gas. I'm gonna finish it at some point, but it was a masterpiece of science fiction, in the cigar universe.
That is, I have to say, I don't think anyone's ever made me laugh that hard on this show. And I've had Matt on here like 4 times. Yeah. I've had, that might have been the best thing that's ever been told on the show.
Because you can totally see it. That's the best part, is you can totally see Coop.
Yeah.
Like the world is ending and him like being like, all right, well, I guess I'm just.
Let me ask you a question. Did you ever play games back in the day? How old are you?
I'm 30. I was a big-time gamer.
All right, so you're about the same age as me. I'm 29. I'll be 30 soon. So, did you ever play Fallout New Vegas?
It's exactly Fallout New Vegas. That's exactly...
You knew exactly where I was going with it.
Yes. That's kind of like
It's like Mr. House.
Yes, it's exactly that. Yes,
I like that.
That's exactly what I was going for. It was like this like post-apocalyptic world where we're still kind of... Like, for some reason, there's still cigar reps, even though the world's ended. Everyone's like, I gotta make a living somehow.
I know. You're selling rad waste.
Yeah, of course.
That's pretty intense. And, I really do hope you finish that, because I really do want to read that.
I will.
I'll pay for that.
And we'll...
I have some old articles that I'll have to send you. That's actually the reason I got my job at Drew Estate, is because I wrote an article called Cigars in the Year 3000, which has some of the themes of this, where I was talking about, the different, what each cigar industry entity would be in the year 3000. So I'll send you some, I'll put in one of the live streams some of my, my highlight reels after the show, so people can check up on the dog video and some of my musings, because it's at a time I really had it. Now I've totally phoned it in. I'm damaged goods at this point, but there was a time where I was really something.
You were at your peak.
I peaked too soon, for sure. Yeah, tramp stamp was the beginning of the end. Now I'm like,
I'm waiting.
Working. And
I was gonna say this earlier, and then we kind of like got off topic, but I'm gonna try to sneak it in here. I'm waiting for the day. It's probably not gonna happen soon, but eventually, I think the day could come when we get the press release from such and such brand, and it says Jack Heyer is hired as executive vice president or whatever one of those high-ranking titles.
Director of janitorial.
And it's just like the quote, and it's like Jack Heyer said, "Honestly, I don't know how I got this job," and that's the quote.
Well, it's funny. J.C. Newman, wonderful people.
Oh yes.
When I was with Cigar Dojo, we were down in Tampa just hanging out. We did a Davidoff cigar, actually. This was 2017, I think. The Davidoff Cigar Dojo white label, which was incredible. Mm-hmm. But we went to J.C. Newman, and they were like talking about the potential ad partnership. And they were like, Jack, we wanted to talk to you about, as part of it, what would it take to get a J.C. Newman tattoo, like a brick house or like a. And I was like, you know what, guys? I'm still debating if I'm opening up my physical canvas for ad space or real estate. But they were like, I don't know how serious they were, but they were like semi-serious. They're like, well, let us know. We got some ideas. We could get you, the Diamond Crown, something or other. But it was hysterical. And I had to give myself like a long look in the mirror. I was like, how far are we going to go? Where does this end?
Is what I'm known for now?
You could be like Matt Booth. You could have the bodysuit, but your bodysuit is all just cigar stuff. Nothing else.
All cigar brands.
I actually... There's a great guy named Terrence. I can't remember it. Terrence B. I think he was an old dojo guy. I think he's still around. But he was the biggest cigar fan ever. And he would go to like the Great Smoke, and he would have a Sharpie with him. And he would have, Ernesto Perez Carrillo sign his arm or his leg or like wherever he was, fully tattooed everywhere. And then he would get that Sharpie tattooed on him.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So he actually had, and it was funny because he had Eric of Cigar Dojo sign him, and Eric was like, I don't know, am I like tattoo signature worthy? Like, where's the line end? Like, if I'm signing anybody, I just would refuse to do it. I'd be like, please don't make this decision.
You don't want your name on someone else's body.
I can barely read and write, let alone like have a beautiful, signature. No chance.
Are you the scribble guy who does like the J and then you just go?
Yes, it's barely a J. It's barely a J. It's a loop and then there's like a. And that's where I started. Imagine, 40 years from now, I'm not even going to be able to. It'll just be a line.
You just have all this collection. That's Eric Espinosa and that's Carlito Fuente.
A line.
You see the C and then, who's this with the line? I don't know. It's just like a scribble.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think that guy's selling software now. I think that he was the director of janitorial.
I heard he lives in Reseda in a van. Oh, man. Oh, Kevin said that was Terrence Bumgardner.
Terrence B, yes. Yeah, he's still around somewhere. He's a great guy.
Yeah. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see.
It was impressive.
Yeah.
It was impressive.
Mitchell, I wanted to ask you, how's your Camacho Unleashed #1, unofficially #1?
I've kind of come to the end here.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm almost there. You're a little bit further along than I am. I'm about there. But it was great.
Good,
it was delicious.
Good to the
I'm excited to hear your guys' thoughts on the broadleaf. Mitchell, if I can figure out a way to, send like a carrier pigeon up to,
If you just get it to Matt, we'll get it to me.
Yes, we'll pull some strings.
Make it so.
Now, Now, is the Factory Unleashed? Is the number 3 the end of it, or is there plans to go to 4?
I
Unknown, up
think
in the air.
most likely I won't. Nobody write an article about this, so this is not like an official edict. But I think that this will probably be the last for a little while of this line. We
Yeah.
did Habano, Connecticut, Maduro. We have this brand new, full brand that we're launching. So we're probably going to focus on Broadleaf for a little while. There's always something cool kicking around with Camacho, but I think that this will probably be, if you liked the Factory Unleashed series, I would probably snap these up because I'm not going to say 100% because,
Yeah.
I'm not the one signing the checks here at Ottinger Davidoff, but it's most likely that you're going to not see another one for a little while at least.
And now also you're one of the few brands that have reopened the factory for factory tours. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we'll be doing now. We're still a little backed up on trips from the past. So I will be down there for a handful of tours at the beginning of next year. We have opened them into the public in the past. I'm not sure if we will or how we'll handle this year. We're pretty close to deciding who gets to go. Usually it's a retailer, media, something like that. But yeah, we take people down for a few days down to Donley, Honduras. It is a wonderful factory. And as far as like cigar factory guest houses, it is the nicest I have seen. It's incredible. We have, state of the art everything. We have a ton of games, fun stuff to do. It's like truly the Camacho way. We do things, pretty full force over at Camacho. If we're doing something, we're kind of balls to the wall all the way out. So it's a pretty incredible experience. And Honduras is an amazing country, and the soil is just so ridiculous. It's like the thickest, crumbliest. It's like nothing you've ever seen if you haven't been down there. Try to, hope that somebody can get down there with us. If you go to your retail shop, ask somebody. And if you're able to go down just in general and see a cigar factory and farms and all that stuff, it's unreal. Yeah, Kevin's been a couple times.
I was just about to say, Kevin's been there, which I think Barb has been there too.
Yes.
I have not been myself, but it's on my list. And it's the thing. I have a long list of places I still want to go. That's on my list. I've heard so many great things about it. Don't worry, Kevin and Barbara have sold it to me. So I look forward to going to that someday. But yeah, no,
we'll get you there at some point. I don't know when. I'm not in the promise giving business because if I told everybody, if it were up to me, I'd be like, oh, we'll just do 500 tours next year. I just told everybody they could go, but it's incredible, and I'm excited to be down there. And I'll brush up on my Spanish a little bit. Who knows? No tattoos. That's the goal for this slate, is to come back with the exact same amount of tattoos.
One.
The office. I told them I would get a QR code, maybe, but that's only if we have a really good link that we need to populate.
Well, you never know. The day might come. Actually,
I was
here's an
thinking about
idea.
also getting a hot tub back there. Maybe get a little house just so the scorpion's a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah. Now, actually, I just thought of something. I remember when the Unleashed first came out. I remember George Rami coming up to New Hampshire. He was on the Cigar Authority.
Yes.
I think is where I met him. At the time, they were handing out actual scorpions, like to eat. Do you guys still do that?
So we did a couple. For the last two, or the first two, we did like a little challenge, like a social media challenge. And it was the first year we found some like petrified or like dried scorpions that were food safe to eat, actually. So we sent them out, and I've actually eaten a handful of them. They're not good. Like, I wouldn't say it's fun to eat, but it just kind of tastes like dry, crunchy, like dirt a little bit. Ugh. And then the following year, which I don't know if it brought an end to it forever, but it was too much. They sent out the one chip challenge. So the one chip challenge is like a famous, like, it's the spiciest chip on planet Earth. And like, I don't think that anybody in the office had tried it before. They were like, okay, we'll send this. Cause the whole thing with Camacho is, it's the boldest cigar company out there, and everything we do, we like to have fire and meat and arm wrestling and loud music, and it's a party, So it was, but the one chip challenge, people were actually like dying. Like people were eating the chip and like throwing up viciously, and like, so the last year we did not have any challenge. I'm sure they will come back, but we kind of took a year of remembrance. And funny enough, actually, my boss Eddie, who's a wonderful guy, Eddie Guerra, when I started, they were pranking me a decent amount. I was hazed. So the first day, I'm working for Davidoff. They say, hey, just so you know, if you're at the office, it's full suit when we're at the office. So I show up in a full suit. Eddie was wearing a suit. And then I walk in. Nobody else is wearing a suit. Everybody else is dressed business casual at best. I saw some, I was like, okay, funny. And then they told me that the bathrooms downstairs were under construction. So I had to go upstairs. So every time I went to the bathroom, I would hike upstairs. I'd go all the way to the accounting side. And I'd go to the bathroom and I'd get kind of weird looks from IT and accounting. And then the last day I was in the office, my first week, they had me do the one chip challenge. And I thought, I was like, I'm a pretty tough guy. I can handle this. So 20 minutes in, and my gut, I said it felt like I had a baby in there that was doing karate. It was like, and I was wearing a shirt, a regular shirt, and I was sweating through my shirt. I was crying, and I threw up. I had to throw up 5 times, horribly. Oh. I was dying.
That's painful.
And then, that's when they told me, they're like, oh, by the way, the bathrooms downstairs work. And I come out and I was just sweating and laying on the floor. And they were like, oh, you didn't have to eat the whole chip. And they're like, and by the way, none of us ate the chip ever. So congratulations, welcome to the team. So it was good hazing for sure.
Yikes. That sounds painful.
I would never do it. I said that I wouldn't do it for anything less than $1,000. I'd do it again for $1,000. But nothing short of that.
At least there's a number.
Not 1 cent short.
Yeah. We'll do it for charity. The charity is no, I would do it for charity. If we rate that could be, maybe we'll throw that in next year. I'll throw up on camera for It's like when Bradley Rubin shaved off his mustache.
Yeah, but that was easy.
Yeah, it grows back.
Yeah. Mitchell, what'd you say?
I said this time you'll be prepared. You'll know how to. You'll know what's coming for you.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything you can do, but just wear it. Just survive.
Well, gentlemen, as much as I'd love to continue, we're
What, you got something going on?
Yeah, I got a couple of things I got to get to. Just a few. And Nicole's probably waiting for me. But no, I mean, this has been a great time, Jack. I mean, I tell you, I wish I could have you on every week. This is fantastic.
Hey, yeah, if you guys ever need a spot, co-host guest spot, I'm in.
I'm gonna hold you to that because sometimes we run into that scenario. So it's always good. Yeah, we can definitely do something off the cuff. But no, this was great, Jack. I really appreciate you taking the time. It was fantastic having you on. It's been a pleasure.
Well, I hope to see you guys soon. I don't know if I'll ever make my way to BC, but if I'm in the Northeast, I'll be sure to let you know.
Oh yeah, you know where to find me. I'm all over the New England area, so you can find me pretty easily. But no, it's good to see you. Excited about Camacho Broadleaf. I'm really excited to try it. Broadleaf is a favorite of mine. Honduran Broadleaf, I'm excited to try. Different.
It's different, man.
Really excited for that. That's going to be very interesting to say the least. And
it's a new phrase I'm testing out. You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it. It's something just I came up with. I've been, testing it out.
That's definitely new. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely new.
Camacho Broadleaf. You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
You're going to like the way it tastes. I guarantee it. Anyway, Jack, thank you, guys. Thank you for being here with us.
Cheers, gentlemen. What a pleasure.
Absolutely. It has been a pleasure. And before I forget, as a reminder, in the comments section or description if you're listening to us later, our McAuliffe Black giveaway is still happening until next Saturday night. That's September, I don't know off the top of my head. It's next weekend, so you have plenty of time. But click the link, go to the website, comment below, name and email. Random winner gets selected. You get a box of McAuliffe cigars, the new McAuliffe Black Toro, as I said before, rated 91 by Kevin Acuff on SmokinTabacco.com. Very exciting. Don't forget to stay tuned and visit smokintabacco.com for more news, reviews, and updates from the cigar industry. We'll be back next week on Wednesday night and then again Saturday night for Spare Notes. And with that, we'll see you there. Take care.
Have a good night.